All right, welcome to today's webinar, Making Sales Tax Simple in Dynamics NAV, brought to you by Archer Point and Valera. ERP systems continue to be the backbone of growing companies. They unify business processes, offer incredible visibility, and ensure better compliance across business activities. But tax compliance, whether in the form of sales tax calculations, exemption certificate management, or collection and reporting, still remains a daunting task. Today's webinar will help you learn how you can simplify compliance while reducing your risk of being audited. Our presenter today is Brooke Ferguson from Valera. In less than an hour, Brooke will discuss how you can simplify tax processes in Dynamics NAV to automate rate table updates for current accurate tax rates, lower time and cost to manage transactional tax compliance, and automatically file and remit to the proper jurisdictions, all while lowering your audit risk. We will have a Q&A at the end of the presentation. You can either type your questions in the question pane of your GoToWebinar console as we go along, or use the raise your hand option to ask your question verbally. I will announce the person asking the question and unmute your line at that time. So let's go ahead and get started. Brooke, over to you.
All right. Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Brooke Ferguson. I'm with Valera here. I'm one of the national account managers, and I'm filling in for Mark Rowe. So today we're going to talk about automating tax compliance in Microsoft Dynamics, specifically Navision. And my computer, there we go. So what we're going to cover, what we're seeing in today's marketplace, what you are saying about what you're experiencing, best practices for Microsoft Dynamics NAV, and of course a Q&A session. All right, so the good news is that the recession is over. Companies that were struggling in the past and growing at lightning speed and claiming market share that wasn't available to them just a few years ago, they're expanding. They're finding new revenue streams and adapting quickly to accommodate those changes. You can either get on the train or you could be standing on the platform wondering what happened. In fact, according to the annual economic report for 2014 published by the White House, we're back at an all-time high. In simple terms, the country is now the richest it's ever been, ever, in our history. And what's that mean? It means that businesses have a lot of opportunity in front of them. It also means that being more strategic in the systems you use and how you use them so you have the resources to claim that opportunity. Today we're going to talk about how you can maximize Microsoft Dynamics to automate compliance. Then we're going to give you a step-by-step plan so you can operate smarter, grow faster, and achieve future goals. So as business people, we've gotten used to the mentality of a recession. You save money, you spend smart, and you don't take any unnecessary risks. Do what you have to survive, and that's all worked, but it's not then, it's now. Now's the time to figure out how to do these three things. Get to the market while the market is hot, delight your current customers and make them raving fans of your company, and do what you do best and get rid of the rest. My most successful customers do these three things by rethinking the way they handle business operations. They maximize their ERP's capabilities to work smarter for their particular business needs. So building a business happens a lot of ways, but here's what I hear the most often. You can drive revenue by hiring more salespeople, by buying out competitors, taking on new products, selling internationally, or going through a new distribution channel. And yeah, a lot of businesses are probably going to do a combination, if not all of these things. But here are the two that I run into the most often, either hiring more salespeople or going through a new distribution channel. So where do you find the money to pay for those new salespeople? Don't you need salespeople to drive revenue so you can hire more salespeople? No. Business is not based on the chicken and the egg parable. So I see businesses in pretty black and white terms. I see two parts to any business. You've got the factory and you've got the farm. I also like to call these the internal and external operations. So what does that mean? Well, when I think of a factory, I think about how they take raw materials, run it through a process the same way, and get the same output every single time. So what does that mean? That's the side of your business that handles all the operations that must be done to stay in business. So in your terms, that might mean payroll, taxes, accounts payable, compliance, and systems. On the other hand, when I think of a farm, I think of the nurturing of the farmer that determines the yield of the crop. The farm side of your business handles everything that's involved in growing your actual business. Things that take nurturing, like hiring, training, sales, customer service, and marketing. Okay, so when I talk to businesses, and as I said, I've talked to a lot of businesses, most of them say that their decision-making happens on the factory side. But what side drives your business growth? It's the farm side. Paying taxes is not a business development activity. Here's where it's important to pay attention. What if you could take just 5% of the resources, and just so we're on the same page, by resources I mean time and money, from the factory and move it over to the farm? What would that do for your business? That's what automation does. It takes existing resources that you're using on tasks that are critical, but let's face it, not making you any money, and it makes them available for you to use on tasks that will drive revenue. So without automation, what is tax compliance like? Well, it's extremely complicated. It changes all the time, and you don't have any choice but to do it. Most businesses struggle to do it accurately, and most ERP systems, while amazing at streamlining businesses, do not offer much in the way of tax compliance functionality. There are basically three traditional ways businesses handle tax compliance. You can enter sales tax rates and think that's sufficient, not realizing that rates, rules, boundaries change constantly. By using out-of-date rates and rules, they're effectively setting themselves up for an audit. Number two, you can constantly update rates manually, which is a huge drain on time and resources. Or three, you can pick an average rate and just apply it across all transactions. None of these are doing your business any good. In fact, they're costing you more money than is needed to manage tax compliance in the first place. And that's money that could be spent growing your business. This is why Microsoft Dynamics is so amazing. Dynamics comes with pre-built integrations for tax automation. And that means it's relatively easy for you to achieve total compliance because you have Microsoft Dynamics. Thanks, Microsoft. For many organizations who are managing business compliance documents like sales tax compliance, tax exemption certificate collection, the effort required to perform the necessary tasks is a business necessity but not necessarily a core competency. That is why Valera created an automated solution and developed the necessary infrastructure to ensure the behind-the-scenes processes. Compliance is handled automatically in a streamlined, cost-effective manner so that your organization can realize the maximum benefits from your investment. All right, what we do. So at Valera, we're a technology service company, and we focus on transactional tax automation. We provide solutions for the calculation, filing, and required documentation around tax compliance. Simply put, we make sales tax less taxing. And how do we do it? We do it with a cloud-based technology and partner with expert services. Using automation to streamline business operations like tax compliance is just like outsourcing payroll. So how many of you use services like ADP or Paychex, maybe Paylocity to handle payroll? It's much easier than before, isn't it? Because payroll is a time suck. Tax compliance is no different. By automating the process, you get accurate rates, up-to-date taxability, and valid exemption certificates every single time in every jurisdiction. And we'll even file and remit on your behalf. So here's a little screen about what we actually provide to our customers. It's broken down into 3 different silos here, but this is 3 different components to an overall product that we provide to you. On the left, you'll see AvaTax. And what it is a bolt-on sales tax calculation engine. It calculates jurisdictions, tax rates, and taxability. And what that means for you is that you get to set it and forget it and have a partner that reacts to it in real time. The middle section there is what we call valera cert capture. And what it is an exemption certificate management technology. What it does, it manages, stores, and organizes customer tax exempt certificates, has a built-in communication system to communicate with your customers when changes and updates are needed. And what that means for your business is that you no longer have to keep these documents in an accordion file or scan them into a disparate system that's not related to your taxability. And when the government comes calling, you can comply with their requests with the touch of your mouse instead of scrambling through filing cabinets. And valera returns, it's tied in with these three as well. What it does is actually automates the returns filing process for you. We have a liability worksheet that you can compare with your general ledger, approve it, and the filing and remittance is done on your behalf by valera. All right, and so this is what's important too. Why do our customers buy? So the bottom line, manual sales tax management is time-consuming and expensive. Valera has over 10,000 customers from mom-and-pop shops to Fortune 500 companies, and the average payback period that we see with those customers is about 5 months. That's 5 months until you've covered the cost of a system that's going to free up time and money and resources that you already have so you can focus on business development, all while ensuring compliance with the government. The reason for this is that we're a consumption-based company and price our product as such, so you only pay for what you need and what you use. And as you see here, an example, some kind of fun facts. It's 50% of auditors are not likely to find mistakes. 50% of the times auditors are likely to find mistakes. All right. So since we're talking about Navision, I've got a couple of screenshots here to show you kind of what it looks like within your ERP system. And the idea is to not change any of your core competencies and processes. What we're going to do by tying AvaTax into Navision is make it to where when you're creating a sales invoice or a sales order, it's going to prompt Navision to go out and ping our web service to get back accurate tax information. So down at the bottom, you'll see in the tax area code, instead of all the different tax schedules that you may manually update or have listed in there, have to go and figure out the right one, they're all going to be set to AvaTax. And what that's going to do is tell your service to go out and ping our web service. It's going to apply all the correct rate, boundary, and jurisdiction rules and come back with that accurate tax rate. And then you're going to be able to drill down and see all of the components that added up to that number and to that rate. Another component that's kind of just like a bonus is the ability to validate addresses within the system. And why this is important is because we use rooftop level accuracy, what we call geospatial location, to figure out what the correct tax rate and subcategory rates should be. So by going in and validating that address, we're able to not even drill down to the zip code level access, but the actual address of where you're shipping or receiving something. Not to mention making sure you've got the correct address information for your customer. All right, a couple of customer success stories here. What we have here is Executive Envelope. It's a 12-employee company. They do about $15 million in revenue every year, and they incurred 4 consecutive audits. You'll see here their office manager quoted, AvaTax saves Executive Envelope 8 to 10 employee hours every week, which they've calculated to be over $36,000 annually. So, again, why do customers buy? This is an interesting example here. So in 1966, there are 1,966 auditors in New York. 75% of them are out of state. 600 auditors are in Florida, and 2,700 audits are out of state, where 150 reside out of state. There are over $23 billion in uncollected use taxes across all of the states. Some of the bigger ones, California, Texas, New York, and Florida. And basically what this means is 3 times as many businesses are being audited annually for sales tax than the IRS audits for income tax. This is why 10,000 plus customers and an additional 500 per month that we acquire are choosing to eliminate risk by outsourcing to Valera. All right, another customer success story here. We've got an industrial equipment company that has 8 different locations and 300 employees across those locations. They estimated around 700 to 900 tax changes annually that they have to manage. A quote from their company, "Our sales representatives have gained more selling time now that they no longer have to research tax rates. Plus, we've eliminated errors in those calculations. The software calculates the correct rate automatically." And maybe some of you can relate to this. We do talk to many companies who have people in positions that have nothing to do with tax responsible for calculating or choosing the correct tax rate. I'm a salesperson. I have no idea how I would go in and manually figure out a tax rate for something I'm selling. All right, another reason why customers buy, and this is a big one, is aggravation. So the largest source of leads that we receive are actually from CPAs. Is they don't even want to do this anymore, and they can't make money or much money from charging their customers for it. This is a fun fact. If you go and look on LinkedIn, there are 26,000 plus unfiled accounting jobs on LinkedIn with the word sales tax in the job description. Seems like nobody really wants to do this. We have a 96% renewal rate. Our customers are very happy to let technology solve and automate sales tax compliance. And the way I like to think of it is, think about what your life was like before you had a GPS system. We either had those big giant maps that you would unfold in your car and look at and figure out how to get somewhere, or MapQuest, you'd go look it up, print it out, take it with you in the car and figure out how to get there. Now there's GPS and Google Maps and all the great stuff. None of us, given the choice, would ever go backwards and choose one of those other options. All right, and one more success story, Nature's Earth Products. They've been in business for 13 years, have 40 employees, and very common, found that California and the Florida tax rules are too difficult to keep up with. The integration of AvaTax was seamless and incredibly simple, requiring minimal maintenance and downtime. So just like Nature's Earth Products, many of our customers just have too much information to keep up with. The changes happen too quickly and too often, and there's no way to stay ahead of it. So they'd rather automate and have Valera do it for them. So AvaTax doesn't just handle your ERP system, though. If you have online stores, if you've got subsidiaries, point-of-sale systems, distribution warehouses, AvaTax can handle all of that. One point of reference for taxes for all of your systems in one place. And we're expanding our integration capabilities every day. We've got over 400 different pre-built connectors now and adding on new connectors all the time. All right, I believe that is the end. You've got Mark Rowe's information there instead of mine. But does anyone have any questions?
Let me just double check here. I think actually we answered them as we went along. A few questions I did have were answered in your presentation. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you so much, Brooke, for stepping in today. I know Mark was supposed to present, but I appreciate you picking up the ball and running with it. And I also appreciate our audience setting aside a few minutes of your busy day for this webinar. We hope you consider it time well spent to help us to continue to offer valuable Lunch and Learn webinars. I invite you to send us an email at info@archerpoint.com. Again, that's info@archerpoint.com for feedback on this webinar and suggestions for future Lunch and Learn topics with Archer Point. Again, thanks for your time, and this concludes today's session.